Some great news, I would say. The UK Home Office, they're trying to block the Duke and Duchess of Sussex from being given taxpayer-funded security. This is the Royal and VIP Executive Committee. They're assessing whether or not to reinstate security provision for Prince Harry and Meghan. Emily, why on earth should these two be given taxpayer-funded security in the first place? They are no longer working royals.
35,000 Australians signed a petition saying Harry and Meghan are not welcome. And instead of doing the one thing any decent publicist would suggest, which is staying quiet, Meghan's team jumped straight into action and hit back fast. They picked up the phone, called the press, and clapped back. And what came out of that call might be one of the most out-of-touch statements this couple has ever backed, which is saying a lot considering their track record. Today, we're breaking it all down. What really went down, why Australia is shutting the door, and what's happening behind those Montecito gates, where even neighbors are now speaking up and spilling details. And it doesn't stop there, because by the end of this, there's something brewing that could seriously shake the whole Sussex setup to its core. And trust me, this situation runs deep with layers on layers. Let's start in Australia, where a group called Beyond Australia launched the petition with a straight-up demand: no taxpayer money and no official backing for Harry and Meghan's upcoming private visit.
They're coming to Australia next month. Yes. Not sure what we did to deserve this one, and not sure why they would bother. I was having a look this morning. There's a change.org petition. It's got about 30,000 signatures when I last looked, calling for the Duke and Duchess to cover all of their costs of their trip privately with no taxpayer or official support. I think that's absolutely fair enough.
Within just days, over 35,000 people signed it, making the message loud and clear. Then another poll asked Australians directly if they even wanted them there. 95% said no without hesitation. And it gets even worse for them. Another online vote about whether they should pay their own way came back at a massive 98%. Yes, across 40,000 respondents.
Meghan Markle, having been dumped by Netflix, is heading down under. She's planning an Aussie cash grab. She said that this is where the future lies, but a local poll showed that about 90% of them don't want her anywhere near Australia.
Now, before anyone tries to downplay it and say 35,000 isn't a big number, think again. Because 35,000 people coming together over one celebrity visit before it even happens is wild and says a lot. As one commenter put it perfectly, 35,000 people booing them when they arrived in Australia would be a lot of boos. And that line hits hard because this isn't just random negativity, it's coming from somewhere real. This reaction is tied to memory, very specific memory. The last time Harry and Meghan were in Australia was back in 2018, during the Commonwealth Tour, when they were newly married and at the peak of their hype. The welcome was huge, the energy was high, everything looked perfect on the surface. But behind the scenes, things were not so smooth. Royal biographer Angela Levine, who has followed this closely, said Meghan was extremely rude to staff, and that claim has stuck around ever since.
He's very successful. He can pay for his own. He sums up the word entitlement, doesn't he? Really, he feels he's trapped by his own family, but he criticizes us all, doesn't he?
There were reports she demanded better rooms, complained about crowd sizes, and then there's that widely talked about moment involving hot tea and a staff member that people still bring up. One Australian summed it up in 5 sharp words: shameless once, never again. And that right there captures the whole mood. So this petition isn't just about money, it's about memory, and people are holding on to it tightly. And just when things were already tense, Meghan's team stepped in and made the situation even louder. Now this is where things really take a turn, because the spokesperson stepped in. And honestly, someone needs to sit down and have a serious talk with them after this. They released a statement, and you have to hear it to believe it, because it sounds unreal. They said, of course, if you wanted to dive into the ridiculousness of this petition as an agenda for spreading misinformation, then one could equally hypothesize that there are approximately 26.5 million Australians, 99.98% of the population, who haven't signed it, who must therefore agree with the taxpayer picking up the tab. Take a second and really think about that. This is supposed to be a top-tier PR strategy from a couple known for hiring the best teams. And this is what they came up with? Calling the petition ridiculous, labeling it misinformation, and then flipping it into some strange math argument. According to that logic, the 26 million people who didn't sign the petition, most of whom probably never even saw it, are now being counted as supporters. That means people going to work, making school lunches, handling their daily lives are now being used as silent approval for something they didn't even engage with. By that same logic, anyone who didn't sign any petition today automatically agrees with whatever it opposes, and that just doesn't hold up. This wasn't just a response, it turned into a moment that left people seriously questioning who approved that message in the first place. Meghan's team basically just drafted millions of people into their fan club without asking, and even commentators who usually stay neutral couldn't defend that move. Kinsey Schofield, who follows this story closely, didn't hold back. She said the statement reeks of animosity and added that it makes it easy to see why the couple polls so poorly around the world. She also pointed out something simple but powerful: never complain, never explain, and said they keep doing the exact opposite every time. But here's the part that really matters, and it's not just talk, it's about real money and real consequences.
Well, I mean, they sort of want all the perks and the PR and the pomp and pageantry almost of being part of the royal family, but they don't really want any of the responsibility, do they? They like to turn up to events, have a few photos taken, look like the charming, lovely people that they wish to present themselves as, and then go home.
What the spokesperson didn't say stood out even more than what they did say. They claim the trip is privately funded, fine, but they completely avoided answering whether Australian police will be pulled from regular duties, if streets will be shut down, or if a full security convoy will be rolling through. Because all of that comes with a cost, no matter who pays for flights or hotels. As one sharp commenter put it, the taxpayers will be paying for street closures, intersection blocking, barricaded roads, and that's where the real concern kicks in. Neil Sean even backed this up, saying insider sources confirmed those kinds of preparations, and that's the exact question people wanted answered. But instead of clarity, there was silence, and that silence was loud enough for everyone to notice. Now here's a detail that hasn't gotten nearly enough attention, and it raises some serious questions. Harry is set to attend an Invictus Games planning meeting while in Australia, and that changes the whole picture if you really think about it. Because Invictus is charity that receives funding, including a reported £26 million grant from the UK government. So naturally, people are asking, could any of that money be covering costs tied to this visit?
They obviously should pay for their own trips. They're very clearly doing a mixture of business and a little bit of charity work.
That would mean veteran-focused charity funds potentially helping support what's being described as a private commercial trip. And that doesn't sit right with a lot of people. One commenter didn't hold back, saying, Harry is doing an Invictus meeting, so Invictus is paying their costs. That's another scam. The veterans deserve more. That reaction shows just how strongly some feel about it. Now, to be clear, none of this has been officially confirmed. But here's the thing. It also hasn't been clearly denied either, and that silence is what's fueling even more questions. Given the pattern people believe they've seen before, this is the kind of situation where a direct, transparent answer would shut everything down fast. But that hasn't happened.
Yes, look, I'm with you all the way. I just don't know what Australia's done to deserve this. And the majority of us probably don't even want them here.
Now step back for a second, because this situation isn't just about Australia. It's part of a bigger pattern that seems to be building from multiple angles. And the latest signals aren't coming from critics online. They're coming from much closer to home, right inside their own neighborhood. New reports out of Montecito, California, the upscale area where Harry and Meghan have lived since 2020, suggests things aren't smooth behind the scenes, with one resident reportedly saying they are being avoided like the plague. Page 6 reported on this, and once that dropped, multiple outlets picked it up fast, and one word keeps coming up again and again from people familiar with the area: takers. Now, Montecito is not just any neighborhood. This is a high-profile, ultra-private community where people like Oprah Winfrey, Rob Lowe, and Ellen DeGeneres have lived for years. These are individuals who know exactly how to handle fame, media pressure, and public attention. And more importantly, they follow an unspoken rulebook that everyone in that area respects. The culture is simple: blend in, stay low-key, and don't bring unnecessary attention or disruption to your neighbors. That's how things work there. But according to people within that circle, Harry and Meghan didn't follow that code, and that's where the tension started building.
When are those two going to realise, a bit like Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and his odious wife, that everybody's patience is not only thin, it's over? Nobody wants her jam.
Rob Lowe, who lives nearby and has spoken publicly, claimed that Meghan was sending drones over other people's properties. And this isn't some random online rumor. This is a direct, on-record statement from a well-known figure. Then there's another story that's been circulating about an elderly veteran neighbor who simply wanted to welcome them to the area in a friendly way. He had a DVD about the local history he wanted to share, walked up to their security gate, and the guard contacted the house to let them know someone was there. The response that came back was simple. He could just leave the DVD at the gate. And that moment didn't stay private for long. It spread across Montecito fast, becoming one of those stories people kept repeating. One commenter even said that man missed the bullet and should feel lucky. And that tells you how some people in the area are interpreting these interactions. Then there's a quote that really got people talking, because it hints at how Meghan may see things herself. When asked why Archie wasn't part of local playgroups, the reported answer was that he's too famous. And that raised eyebrows instantly, because this is Montecito, where families with global recognition live normal, low-key lives, without making that kind of distinction.
It's curious he didn't need Home Office security when he was caught, I don't know if you saw this, when he was caught walking around Fulham, a nice part of southwest London, on his own, ringing on random people's doorbells looking for a friend's house.
Yes.
He seemed to be perfectly safe then, so he does pick and choose, doesn't he, Danica? And the other thing is, he's a multi-millionaire.
A recent Variety piece added even more pressure, with commenters calling it harsh and detailed, pointing to a Netflix relationship that appears to be struggling, deals that haven't fully come through, and a shift in how people who've dealt with them are starting to talk. As Kinsey Schofield put it on air, they're being labeled as takers, and the tone around them is clearly changing. There's also the quiet disappearance of that once highlighted friendship with David Foster and Catherine McPhee, something that used to be presented as proof of strong Hollywood ties. Now it's barely mentioned. No updates, no explanations, just silence. And people are noticing that too. It just ended, like a lot of relationships connected to this couple seem to do, quietly fading out without any clear explanation. Now there's a new question floating around, and it's catching attention fast. Will Meghan's own circle, like the Montecito bookstore she's publicly supported, visited, and posed in, end up stocking Tom Boyer's new book, Betrayal?
I thought a decision had been made, but no, of course, legal challenges after legal challenges from Prince Harry, who feels like he's always the victim in this situation, particularly when it comes to taxpayer-funded protection for him and his family. But I think the Home Office is probably right on this one. There would be massive public outcry, wouldn't they?
Because when that hits shelves, it's going to spark serious reactions. But step back for a second, because all of this, Australia, Montecito, the publishing drama, it's not random. It all points to something deeper that keeps showing up again and again. At the center of it is one big issue. Harry and Meghan still haven't clearly defined what they are. They stepped away from royal duties in 2020, saying they wanted privacy, freedom, and a more normal life. But at the same time, they held on to their titles, Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And those titles aren't just labels. They're the backbone of every major deal tied to their name. Netflix didn't invest huge money for just Harry and Meghan from California. They invested in the global pull of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Spotify didn't sign a deal based on a past acting career. They signed onto a royal identity that carries weight. Commentators across the board keep repeating the same point. If they want full independence, then drop the titles and operate as private individuals. Go by Harry Sussex and Meghan Sussex. Step away from the royal branding and fully commit to that lane. Because right now they're stuck in the middle, and it's creating friction everywhere. They're being judged by royal-level expectations when it comes to accountability, while trying to move with the freedom of celebrities. And that mix is not landing well. You can't play both sides forever without consequences. And now the financial side of things is starting to come into sharper focus, and it's not looking great. According to publishing insiders who spoke to News Nation, Penguin Random House is reportedly done with them, And that adds another layer to a situation that just keeps getting more complicated. Harry's book brought in money. He reportedly received $20 million, but insiders are saying the publisher may have overpaid and might never fully recover that investment. And it doesn't stop there, because reports claim Harry has been calling Penguin's offices almost every week, asking about royalties that sources say may never actually show up. One publishing insider even said Harry has a fundamental disconnect to the concept of money, especially the idea that it can run out. And that statement alone raised a lot of eyebrows. Then there's Meghan, who reportedly pitched two separate books, one focused on leadership and philanthropy, and another said to involve divorce, but both proposals were turned down. According to those same reports, the publisher has now stopped responding altogether, leaving things in an awkward silence that's hard to ignore. And now everything is building toward one major moment: Tom Bower's upcoming book, Betrayal, which is about to hit shelves and already creating serious buzz. Tom Bower isn't just any writer. He's known for deep investigative work, spending years researching his subjects and speaking directly to people within their circles. His previous book on Meghan was a #1 bestseller, so expectations for this one are already high, and people are paying close attention. Some readers say they've already ordered their copies, while others are asking if it'll even be stocked in that well-known Montecito bookstore Meghan has been linked to, and that detail alone is getting people talking. Because this is the situation unfolding. They're heading into a country where 95% of surveyed people have already said they don't want them there, and that kind of reception is hard to ignore. Their spokesperson has already taken shots at 35,000 people, brushing off their concerns as ridiculous, and that didn't go unnoticed. At the same time, neighbors back in Montecito are speaking out. The publisher has reportedly gone quiet. Key Hollywood connections have faded away, and now there's a 400-page book about to drop that people around them have reportedly been uneasy about for months. One commenter summed it up with brutal clarity, calling them the Duke and Duchess of no success, saying they're now facing the results of their own actions, and that line has been spreading fast. And here's the bigger picture you can't ignore. In Montecito, in Australia, in the UK, in Hollywood, no matter where they go, the same pattern keeps showing up. At first, the crowd is warm, people are curious, even supportive, but then things shift. Patience wears thin, and sooner or later, someone starts speaking out. That pattern is hard to deny, and no spokesperson statement, no funding explanation, no high-priced event changes what people are starting to see. At some point, the narrative sticks, and once it does, even the best PR teams can't fully turn it around. That's where things stand right now. If you made it this far, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's been following this story. And drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you watching how this Australia visit plays out? And would you actually pay £1,700 for a conversation with Meghan Markle?